They were trying to compel people to say he was the greatest. Michael Jordan didn't say that about himself. Kobe Bryant didn't say that about himself. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar didn't say that about himself. Bill Russell didn't say that about himself. Tim Duncan didn't say that about himself. Nobody said that. Nobody but him.
One man built a crown so high that even history had to step back, while the other is still standing on a ladder, yelling to anyone who will listen that he deserves that same spot. StephenASmith just dropped a truth hit so heavy, it could shut this whole argument down for good. And if you're tired of hearing the same old stats, the same recycled takes, the same endless debates, then what's coming next might finally give you some real clarity.
Every time LeBron does something, if Jordan wanted to, he would have done it.
I didn't say that.
He's what you said he was.
This isn't about tearing down greatness. It's about showing the difference between legends who earned their throne and players who try to talk their way into it. Michael Jordan versus LeBron James, the matchup people keep dragging out. But here's the part. Nobody wants to say out loud. It hasn't even been a real debate in years. It's more like a rescue mission, and LeBron's circle has been working overtime, trying to build a legacy. The game itself didn't fully stamp. Every record comes with a headline. Every milestone gets blasted online. Every achievement gets instantly compared to Jordan's, like somebody is trying to force us into a conclusion we never agreed on.
Jordan was the first 40-year-old to drop 40. That's number one. LeBron James is in his 22nd season. That was the 78th time in his career he has scored over 40 seasons. How many 40-point games did Michael Jordan have? 173.
If the claim was truly solid, it wouldn't need marketing. Jordan didn't chase approval, didn't beg for validation, didn't need anyone to hype him up. Every time he stepped on the court, he just hooped, dominated, crushed whoever was in front of him, and walked away. Not once, but twice, leaving the league stunned both times. Meanwhile, LeBron has turned his whole career into one long campaign speech. And now the cracks in that speech are showing because greatness that needs nonstop defending doesn't age like royalty. It fades the second the mic turns off. StephenASmith has been pushing this point for years, and now he dropped a set of quotes so sharp, so clean, they slice straight into the argument. 12 statements that cut through all the noise and expose the uncomfortable truth. Jordan sits alone, LeBron is still climbing, and no matter how many seasons he plays or how many points he racks up, that gap isn't closing. If you're ready for the real talk, lock in and hit that subscribe button, because we're diving straight into the truth with no filters. The real divide between legends and the ones who try to build themselves up comes down to one thing: self-proclamation. LeBron James and his circle have spent years pushing the same message, saying he's the greatest of all time.
LeBron James, there's only one player we look at and we say definitively we think was better. And that was Michael Jordan. They were trying to compel people to say he was the greatest. Michael Jordan didn't say that about himself. Kobe Bryant didn't say that about himself. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar didn't say that about himself. Bill Russell didn't say that about himself. Tim Duncan didn't say that about himself. Nobody said that. Nobody but him. Steph Curry hasn't said that about himself. Steph Curry has never called himself the greatest shooter of all time. Ray Allen never called himself the greatest shooter of all time. Reggie Miller never called himself the greatest shooter of all time. Allen Houston never called himself the greatest shooter of all time. Nobody called themselves the greatest in anything but that man and his camp.
Not hinting, not suggesting, but stating it loud, non-stop, like a slogan they want everyone to memorize. And honestly, that already tells you plenty. In the whole history of basketball, no true all-time great ever crowned himself, not one. Michael Jordan never called himself the GOAT, not a single time. He let his 6 rings talk for him, while that perfect finals record made the point every night. Kobe Bryant, a man who lived the game with a level of obsession few people ever understood, never gave himself that title either. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar held the scoring record for almost 40 years with 6 MVPs and 6 championships, and he didn't need a campaign to tell people what he was. Bill Russell stacked 11 rings and didn't have to say a word. Tim Duncan walked around with 5 championships and 3 finals MVPs, letting his quiet game shake up history without a speech.
Anything that Michael Jordan wanted to do, he didn't spend the first 8 years shivering. He didn't have to go to South Beach to learn how to win.
But LeBron couldn't wait. He crowned himself early, and his camp backed it up while certain media voices turned the volume up even more. Whenever someone questions it, they react like it's a personal insult, like people are supposed to agree right away. But that's not real confidence. That's pressure mixed with frustration. True greatness doesn't need a promo team, doesn't need talking points, and definitely doesn't need a script. It speaks on its own. Real greatness doesn't need a speech, it just exists. Undeniable and out of reach because the work speaks louder than anything someone could say.
All I know is your man got 7 more years in the league and still chasing Jordan. 7 more years. He don't even have more rings. Been in the league long enough that I was in college. And still, he ain't catch Jordan.
And still get him there.
Think about Steph Curry, the guy who flipped basketball upside down with his shooting and changed the whole sport forever. He shattered records nobody thought were touchable, and even with all that, he never once called himself the greatest shooter ever. Everybody else says it. Fans, players, legends. And Steph just keeps firing threes and letting that scoreboard talk. Ray Allen held the record before Steph and never claimed he was the top shooter either. These dudes understood something simple. When you're truly the best, you don't need to announce it. The world does it for you. LeBron broke that unspoken code when he looked at the history books, saw that throne, and instead of earning universal recognition, he tried to grab it by force. His circle backed him the whole way, pushing articles, highlights, and hand-picked numbers meant to rebuild a story everybody already sees clearly. Jordan is the standard, always has been, always will be, and no amount of self-promo is flipping that reality. And numbers don't lie when you're talking real dominance. 40-point games show who can completely take over, who can crush opponents when it matters most. And Jordan lived in that space. Michael Jordan had 173 games with 40-plus points, and he did that in just 15 seasons. 2 of those were comebacks after retirement, and 2 more were in Washington when he was older, running on worn knees just because he loved the game. So Jordan's peak destruction happened in about 11 seasons. Meanwhile, LeBron James in his 22nd season just reached his 78th 40-point game, 78. After 2 decades with 7 extra years to stack up chances, LeBron still hasn't reached even half of Jordan's total. 7 more years of playing time, more possessions, more opportunities, and he's still almost 100 games behind. LeBron stretched his career across multiple eras while getting every advantage modern basketball could offer. Advanced training, sports science, recovery tech, load management, all of it. And even with all those tools, he still can't touch what Jordan did in a shorter and way tougher window. Jordan didn't need 20 seasons to prove he was the top dog. He stepped into the league and started tearing it up from day one. For Jordan, 40-point nights weren't celebrations. They were just another night on the schedule. But when LeBron hits 40, it turns into a full media event. Social feeds go wild, and the GOAT hashtags start flying. When you have to hype every big game just to keep a storyline alive, it means the game itself isn't talking loud enough. Jordan did his damage in an era where defense was real contact, where hand checking was allowed, and where hard fouls actually meant hard fouls. The league was rough, physical, and unforgiving. LeBron has spent his career in an era where touching a shooter's hand is a foul, and the whole game has shifted towards speed, spacing, and offense. Even with that tilt helping him, LeBron is still behind. Real greatness shows itself from the start, and Jordan did exactly that. He came into the NBA in 1984 and instantly started shaping the sport without needing years of development or a veteran squad to guide him. He landed in Chicago, a franchise with no momentum, and flipped the whole thing. By his 3rd season, he was averaging 37 points per game. By year 7, he grabbed his first championship. And from that moment on, it was dynasty mode with 6 titles in 8 years. LeBron James entered the league in 2003 with more hype than anyone, labeled the chosen one. But it took him 8 years in Cleveland just to figure things out. He reached the finals in 2007, sure, but the journey was rocky and the team never truly broke through. He reached the 2007 finals and got swept, overwhelmed on the biggest stage with no real fight or killer instinct. After 8 long years of trying and falling short, LeBron made a move Jordan would never consider. He left. He walked away from Cleveland, joined Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh in Miami, and learned how to win with a stacked squad. But that's not greatness. That's schooling. Jordan never needed to run from Chicago to learn how to close games. He built his legacy through pressure, struggle, and pure competitive fire, not by teaming up with stars. LeBron needed a blueprint, a super team, and elite co-stars just to break through. And even with that help, it still took him 2 full seasons in Miami before he grabbed his first ring. That gap matters because greatness isn't just about how you finish. It's about how you start. Jordan showed that from day one, while LeBron needed almost a decade to figure it out. Jordan was young too, but he didn't need excuses. Just a basketball, a court, and he'd cook anyone in front of him. Jordan wrote the model while LeBron became the product of the system. Michael Jordan didn't just dominate in his prime, he fought time itself. At 40 years old with the Wizards, on knees that survived 2 3-peats, Jordan became the first 40-year-old in NBA history to drop 40 points. That wasn't just a record. It was a message to time itself, proving greatness comes from pure DNA, not technology. LeBron fans love hyping his longevity. And yes, lasting this long is impressive, but he's had every modern advantage. Cryotherapy, elite chefs, engineered workouts, sports science, everything. Jordan had none of that and played in a tougher era where players fought through pain and kept going. When Jordan came back after his second retirement, he wasn't trying to prove anything. The man already had 6 championships locked in history. He returned simply because he loved the game. And even in a body that wasn't the same, he still showed what real greatness looked like. Dropping 40 at age 40 wasn't about stats. It was a reminder that time couldn't erase who he was. And here's the line that should end this debate. Simple, sharp, brutal. StephenASmith said it clearly. LeBron James has been in the league 7 more years than Michael Jordan, and he's still chasing the crown. With all those extra seasons, games, and every modern advantage possible, LeBron still hasn't caught him. Not in dominance, final success, or cultural impact. Longevity is supposed to be extra shine on a legendary career, but for LeBron, it became the whole argument. If the strongest point in a GOAT debate is he played longer, you're not talking about the greatest, just the most durable. Jordan conquered the NBA in about 11 savage years, rewrote record books, won 6 rings, never lost in the finals, and turned basketball into a global phenomenon. LeBron has had 22 years to match that, double the time, and he's still behind. If someone was truly greater, they wouldn't need twice the career to make the case. LeBron has spent 2 decades building a resume that's strong, yes, but still incomplete. One that needs explanations, context, and defending every time the conversation gets real. Jordan's resume stands tall, untouched, unshakable, undeniable. And LeBron has had more help, more star teammates, and more elite talent around him than Jordan ever had. Jordan did more with less, and he did it faster. That's greatness you can't spin. Miami's Big 3, Cleveland with Kyrie and Love, the Lakers with Anthony Davis. LeBron has spent his whole career jumping into super team situations and stacking the deck. Meanwhile, Jordan stayed in Chicago, helped Scottie Pippen grow into a Hall of Famer, and dominated with the same core without chasing shortcuts. And even with all LeBron's advantages, he still trails. StephenASmith dropped a line so sharp it cuts through every excuse. Everybody already recognizes LeBron as one of the top 3 players in history. What more do you want? A diaper and a bib. It hits because it's true. LeBron is great. Top 3 all time, absolutely. But somehow, that's never enough for his fan base. They don't want respect. They want worship. They don't want recognition. They want the crown. Every time LeBron hits a milestone, his camp blasts social media demanding everyone call him the greatest. When he passed Kareem's scoring record, the moment wasn't just celebrated. It was used as ammunition to force the argument. Every highlight becomes a campaign ad, and the loud begging for validation makes it all feel forced. Jordan never needed that. His fans didn't have to melt down online or write essays. The respect was automatic because the work was undeniable. When Jordan won his 6th championship and walked away, nobody debated his place. It was clear. LeBron's career feels like one long PR campaign where every accomplishment comes with a press release, and the harder his circle pushes the narrative, the more desperate it looks. The truly great never had to campaign for their spot. Magic Johnson changed basketball with Showtime, won 5 rings, and never crowned himself. Larry Bird dominated his era and stayed grounded. Kareem was unstoppable and let the skyhook speak. Bill Russell won 11 championships and never shouted his greatness. Kobe Bryant chased Jordan for 20 seasons and still let others decide his place. That's real greatness. No campaign needed. Great players understood the unwritten rule. You don't crown yourself the best. The world does it for you. LeBron broke that code the moment he looked at basketball royalty and decided the rules didn't apply to him. When that didn't land, his camp doubled down and turned his entire legacy into a marketing push instead of letting the game speak. And the harder they push, the more empty it all sounds. Because when the truly great never had to say they were great, and the one chasing them can't stop saying it, the truth becomes too clear to ignore. Jordan's greatness became legendary because it was built on unforgettable moments, not press releases, not hashtags, not campaigns. His story was pure killer instinct, pure clutch, pure perfection, a finals record that still sits untouched. LeBron's story has felt crafted, polished, edited, like a documentary happening in real time, where the message gets louder every year and the confidence starts looking more like pressure. Jordan let history write his story, while LeBron has been trying to write his own. And here's the wild part. LeBron James is the only all-time legend who ever declared himself the greatest. That alone tells you everything, because if you have to say it, push it, repeat it, and beg for it, then deep down, it probably isn't real. True greatness doesn't campaign, it just lives. Jordan's focus was simple: win, dominate, break opponents mentally and physically. He did it every time. LeBron's focus has always been split. Half basketball, half brand. And that divided attention shows in his legacy. Huge, yes. Impressive, yes. But still questioned. Jordan's legacy was locked the second he hit that 6th championship shot and walked away. LeBron's legacy is still being edited, still being defended, still being argued every single season. You can't crown yourself king if you never conquered the throne. And LeBron had every advantage. More seasons, more resources, more stacked teammates, better training, better science, and a softer modern era. Even with all of that working for him, he still can't match what Jordan built in a tighter, more brutal window. Jordan earned his crown through pressure, performance, and perfection. LeBron has tried to take it with volume, longevity, and carefully crafted narratives. And the difference shows one legacy stands untouched, needing no defense, while the other needs a whole PR squad just to keep the conversation alive. This debate has never been about hate. It's about hierarchy. And at the top of that hierarchy sits Michael Jordan. Untouchable, undeniable, immortal. LeBron James is a legend. Top 3 all time without a doubt, but the throne still belongs to Jordan. And no amount of self-proclaiming is gonna rewrite that. Next time someone says LeBron is the GOAT, remember StephenASmith's words. He had 7 extra years, every tool, every advantage, and still couldn't catch him. Is the debate really over, or are we still pretending longevity equals dominance? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video.